My name is Rhapsody, his name is Orbital Potato, and welcome back to Slipways. We are in our Echoes in the Dark challenging mission, and we have found ourselves the 4-bear megastructure that we are now going to be planning our mission around, surrounding with successful and prosperous planets to connect into it. Have you any lean immediately now seeing this? And will you share?
No, no. You should have asked that first because very much unwilling to share.
No.
Okay. Here's the thing. My plan.
Yes.
And I think we have to go for this. I think we have to turn the Earth world into a Gaia world.
Ooh.
In order to prosper it, because we cannot get goods to the colony, and therefore we're not going to be able to successful it. So it's just a case of as many inputs as possible. I think we need to turn the bottom Earth-like, in the duo of Earth-likes.
Oh,
no, sorry, the bottom Earth-like up to there. With the bottom one, I think that needs to become a colony, and I think we need to get goods from the Forge world that we were originally discussing. I think that plan needs to now kick into gear. Yep. And then I think we just need to. I think the phrase is "pog it up." Have you got any? What's your take? Give me your hot spicy take on the situation.
Give me 1 second, and then I will give it to you. You ready?
Okay. I'm afraid you've already. Oh, that is your take. Oh, I see. Okay, I was waiting to say I was waiting for this take.
You aren't prepared for the take. You can't handle my strongest takes.
That's really good.
Proud of me, Dad?
Very.
Hell yeah.
And dude, that's so perfect as well, because as soon as we get regurgitated food, that can come down to the colony down at the south, the arid, and then immediately loop back into the guy. Oh my!
I wasn't even thinking about that. You're 100% right. Yeah.
You are, wow.
I'm a genius, and I didn't even mean this. It's the version of poet and didn't know it for brains.
You could do it now, actually.
Yeah, no, I can get enough of the benefit out of doing it now. Wait. This does take in a second.
Look at that. I mean, that's literally just. I mean, we can connect that across to the ghosty boy, right?
To the ghosty boy. Ah, yes. No, we can immediately start getting some production over here. Yes. This is gonna have a hard time also getting a colony situation, but also we'd need hyperlanes to actually even be able to connect there, so we don't have to worry about that not being able to just yet. Let's do that. We need to start production. You're absolutely right. We've also got this bad boy that's unfortunately only 12. You feel like it should be so much more.
Yeah.
And we are 5 months away from redigestion being available, which would just make that connection immediately. So let's go back to this other part of the scaffold that you were talking about. So we've now got these two hive worlds that you both want to fund off of this. Again, really, really pleased with this. How are we going to achieve?
So the priority is the northern colony is no longer a priority, right? The southern colony is the priority, and prospering that is the focus, or I think what should be the focus. So we need to think about how we can optimize to make that southern planet prosperous, so that we can put the most buildy points into the ghost.
Now, don't use your technical language on me. You're not wrong at all, and I apologize that it sounded like I was about to contradict you.
It's okay.
We've got the weed input on this that it feels like the obvious thing is redigestion comes down here. The obvious problem with that is the cutoff there. But I'm trying to see if there is just any extant world where I think maybe does that become a world?
I agree. There's a way to say it. I think that's it. And then, although to be fair, I mean, we will get the extra food anyway, so I mean, it's not a problem. It's more important that we have a people output, really, for the for the planet, I think, so that we can get prosperity.
People output for the planet so we can get prosperity. I will say this is not
Yeah.
going to be lacking in people outputs. Like, this doesn't connect, but it will not have difficulty with that.
Also, just to repitch, I still think the idea of a second lab is not a bad one in there.
Not at all,
with
but
two
let's
chips.
find it. So that's that. Hang on, now we do need to think about this as well, because the recycling operation being here, this is a connector, right? It connects. It's not just colonies that connect here; it's any successful or prosperous planet. So we do want to think about the possibility of prospering one of these as well. All of them are asking for a person as well as water. Water is a little bit of a push in terms of resource acquisitions for us.
You say that, but I don't think it is. If that becomes a Gaia world, which I think it should be.
Mm-hmm. So this will have the ability to output 2 water maximum after getting 2 people in. We can have 2 people in with something like this. And then as soon as we feed these outputs into anything, immediately we will get the return.
Second. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a second ship output, actually. Which
I
means
actually
the
like
extra
that.
water
I like
going
that.
in there makes, like, successful, and then that has the ability to immediately go towards successful as well.
Live long, and prosper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame though, with that big connection across there, cuts off the chip. But it just cuts off a chip to a potential lab. I should clarify.
Yes. No, you're right. I mainly wanted that for the output of the extra chip, which I forgot we are already designing for.
It's more important to try and prosper the southern chip planet, though, right?
Ish, but whether or not we would not be able to meet that in a different circumstance is what I'm thinking about. Because, like, if the water comes down to this one, it's what it wants as well.
It cannot, unless actually it totally can. If you build the lab basically south of the below the remnant world, and then over to the right, everyone move it to the right, but just below the structure, the forefather, yeah, like right in there. Oh, please. Okay, I mean, look, this is just making the hard pitch for geo-harvesting, honestly. That right there. Actually, no, it needs to be, sorry, it still needs to be below the remnant world. So, like, draw it back from there in line with the above remnant world.
Why does it need to be below the remnant world?
Because then you can get a water connection from the Gaia world to the southernmost chip planet. Oh, but then you can't link up the... Okay, yeah, you're frustrating. I'm making arguments against myself here.
This isn't an awful version of this. It minimizes a lot of the distances that we have to move for the longer things. Does it benefit us in any unique ways, though? I guess is my main question.
Not really.
Not particularly. I think we're happy just going to get 4 science out of this. And then if we fix anything with hyperlanes later, we fix them with hyperlanes later.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Now, let's undo the stuff that got us here. Because that was all scaffolding at the time. And as soon as we roll over the year, we're going to want to do some connections and stuff over there. So what do we want to integrate initially into this system? Do we want to try and get... Can we get science before the end of the year? Yeah, we can get 1 science before the end of the year if we just pop the lab down and immediately put 2 people into it.
Oh, yep, very true. Very, very true.
Which I'm not particularly angry at doing. Oh, we can't even afford it! Never mind, hang on. We'll pop an asteroid and then afford them.
Yes,
Wow.
that is very true.
What happened to our money?
I think that's enough for both of them. probably.
Should well be.
It's just enough. One science.
And then that immediately gives us our redigestion online. Perfect. And then we have the second out of this as well, so we have the ability to feed this.
Yep.
So that means we colonize there and there and there, and then pop this.
Does it need to be a Gaia world, actually? Thinking about it now, given that we've got regurgitation now. It's not called regurgitation, but you get the picture.
Yeah, so... Let me not just immediately answer that inertially, because I might just be wrong. We do want water production. Ultimately, what else is it going to be, right? Is it going to be a hive world? In which case, how are we going to get the extra water for the completion of it? And then are we going to wait for the hive to jump over? We could fund that from there instead if we wanted to, and then loop this back in if we really wanted to get.
You're right. It's too complicated. It's too not guaranteed. What's the unknown? That's the
This just has like a lot of integrations for some good trade. I don't keep special costs. Okay, cool. Just making sure that we aren't completely screwed on those. 36 income, neat. And the geo harvesting is currently 16, so with 40% off, it would be less.
What's the trade league again, please? Just out of
trade league
curiosity.
accepts any standard resource except for people. Only starts paying for them when they get 3 ones. So they won't even pay for them up until that point. You won't get trade income. However, after that point, you start getting happiness and all of your trade income back. If we had a galaxy that had like a lot of errant resources extra, I would be more pleased about that. But this galaxy is, it seems, at least at the moment, more likely to focus on trading culture and radio signals amongst one another for prosperity.
I think geo harvesting is the obvious choice there.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, I should connect things before I even do that. Rather.
Can I make the pitch that the priority is getting the extra science before the year-end tick?
Sure,
And
absolutely
then
can.
Work back from.
Sounds good to me. You colonize this to
good.
roll over the year.
Yep.
Just making sure that nothing's
Or you can
atrocious.
pop the roid in the middle there of the center of the screen. Yep. That's only how is that only 12? What's going on, dude?
Here? We delivered all of the resources that we're working with in this area. So the good connection is going to be the completion of the Euphorians. We're getting 14 science next year. So if we wanted to, we could decrease the cost of geo-harvesting here and then immediately research it next year in order to bump to the next level of missions.
I think that's pretty good, because that keeps the maximum amount of science and spends the minimum amount of science on resources. I think this is great. I'm very pleased with how this is going.
Yeah, I'm only increasing my pleasure here. Can we get the geo-harvesting? And then 10. Sorry?
Can we look at the win conditions, actually? Just sort of thinking, like, is there a time that we have to get this done by?
So it's not time is going to be the increase here.
Wow.
It is going to be ultimately the amount of connections that we have to the structure. And then other than that, it's just, the power of your galaxy.
Wow, that's actually a lot of connections that were required to get 10 stars.
Not entirely. To be clear, the prosperous planets provide 2.
That's, I mean, we're only going to, how many prosperous planets are we going to get, though?
All of them. If we get enough science for the Universal Harmony to go off, even if we don't end up including the Elysium Project, if we get Universal Harmony off, everything's becoming prosperous. If we get Interstellar Networks off, everything's becoming prosperous.
I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
And then I saw your face. Well,
That's right.
To be clear, happens in the other order, right? I'm a believer, and then I saw your face would be a fundamentally different song from the Monkees. It's not as positive. Ooh, man, good lord, you got a face only God could love. Okay, let's return to the inside of the galaxy. I do like this. Let's pop that, do that, connect. Okay, and then connect.
Oh, beautiful! Nice time to finish the mission there. Nice
Mhm.
cash injection.
I wasn't even thinking about that. So huge. We're gonna get a bunch of science when we do the Vittori one as well. Yeah, let's just finish it. Let's go. I think geoharvesting is totally reasonable here. We're doing nothing else with those dead planets.
Agree. And there's an immediate desert planet to destroy in the middle of the world. Oh, 8 science 2. Oh my god, that's so good.
That's
Immediate desert planet.
Sorry.
Right there.
This
A desert planet in the middle to connect up to the biomass. Yep. That's the one. And then the people connection right through. Yep.
Bingo. And then that extra biomass can go out here, and we suddenly have prosperity going on. So we should probably have a look at the tasks.
Agree.
Oh, science. I
agree.
also do feel like we might now be in the realm where, like, Dender tech discount.
I think it depends on what we want to go for late game techs. I mean, what were the culture's Dender, right?
Yes, so the cultural stuff is Dender, but so is the Elysium project.
But counterpoint, hyperlanes, very expensive, and also Ephorians. I mean, that's going to be what 10 science off that if we get the Ephorians mission. Very expensive.
Damn it, you're not wrong. All right, increase the production of. So let's postpone that again. So the 20% reduction on, this is round to 50. 20% reduction from that is 10 off. And then we've got the reactionless and the stable jumps. The reactionless drive we might not need. Stable jumps we will. One of them is economic, one of them is the distance, and the distance is deeply important. You still need to get that. And the distant one I think is 56, so that's going to be another 10, another 11-ish, 21 science effectively that we get out of that immediately. Yeah, you're right. We do need to focus Dender. Sorry, not Dender. We need to focus Ephorian first. And if we are focusing that, we're doing it by doing Praetori. Sorry?
Agree. To be clear, I think we'll get them all. Like, there's no reason that we can't get this and then come back for the Dender. In fact, I think that's entirely rational.
Yes. Love it. Do it.
We've earned through the missions, dude. This is something else.
I'll tell you that the galaxy is running like a smoothly oiled machine at the moment. Hey, do you want to start blowing up some parts of the machine?
Yeah, it's like, you put a clock back together and then you're missing, you're left with a couple of gears. You're like, oh, well, I've just made it more efficient.
And then you destroy it.
What's that meme? The I'm an engineer meme?
I know, I'm not super familiar with
no, it's like the Stonks. It's like the Stonks boy. It's like engineer, but spelled with a J.
I see. Like, I can grok the realm in which that might be used. This internal, I would also like to actually start joining into some stuff, but blows up for a month, connect, blows up for a month, connect. That's 4 actions, and that gets us prosperity before the end of the year, as well as another success and possibly another success here. It's really good.
Cash doesn't matter at this point, to be honest. I mean, we're blowing up.
Oh, no prosperity? Excuse me? They're so close to it, though.
1 export. It'll get it with hyperlanes.
It also needs an adjacency to go again, but this is about to become successful with just that connection.
Sure will.
Okay, and then we can get the person in as well.
Yep. Oh, actually, hold on. I think you should connect instead of doing that, I think you should connect up the successful planet down to the Forge world, the Ghost world, before year-end ticks, so we get another point of Buildy Boy.
So that's a new year, and then that was the connection up there that we established. That does not need to be established right now. So the connection is this one that you're proposing. I like it. Let's do it.
That is correct. Does reduce our income ever so slightly, but I think it's worth.
So it's going to be 2 years, as well as the completion of the Dender mission before we get the hyperdrive online. If we're prioritizing hyperdrive immediately. And
the real question is, what's the next resource that we want to study, right? What is it?
We do need to expand our studies immediately, pretty much. Well, let's think about it, right? You can only study 5 different resources. We
I got the
already
pitch.
have... Sorry?
I got a pitch for you. Robots up in top left-hand corner.
Robots top left. Oh, because of all of the forge bears?
Correct. Is that workable?
It's the people up here that make it difficult. The lack thereof. I'm happy for there to just be one person, one robot, and an army of terracotta robot soldiers. But
there's maybe water on the left-hand side. That's pretty decent too, I guess. Yeah, ish.
For a second, if I did water extraction here and then that became a colony, right? So ultimately, this gives another expansion availability for Orlith. This planet can only really be used to create a colony. So if we use this as a basis that we take as like granted, then the bot that comes out of here could be here. Person, bot, hyperlane finishes that later. So ultimately what we're looking at then is how are we getting the ore into each of those. The extra water goes to there, one water goes to there, but then we would also need to get a wheat production up here. That wouldn't need to immediately happen though.
Can the Forge world up to the north connect down to the Swamp world in the south? Sorry, the left north one. The westerly one. Can that connect down to the south? No. I was thinking biomass there, food synthesizer across. Nah.
No. Leave it too long, that one.
How many planets are there up to the north? Is there any realistic possibility that we're able to discover a ore world? It's okay. An ore world over there somewhere.
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't hold my breath for it. Hey, let's actually... There's a lot of Forge worlds up here. Great. Yeah. But we also have some bots being made out here. We've got another bot production factory. We've got another bot production factory. And we've got all this dead space. Maybe there's something here.
True. Plus there's the opportunity for a colony / food synth from that north world. And it fixes the problem with the north world if we're able to get a food synthesizer. Or a colony up there to feed the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I prefer this plan. I think scan. Also, there's still redundant connections to make if you want to do them at any time.
Yes, this one. Let's just look at the income change is an investment of 14 and it gives us 6 more income. That's pretty big. And then this needs another total import or export. Not going to have any more exports, but it can't take any more imports from this available area just yet, at least.
Yeah.
But it's still close to being able to do that, and we'll be able to do that soon. Okay. This could get water, but it's never going to have another output of... The problem is the biomass is always going to end up going in there.
I don't think it should get water. I think the water needs to be held back for the outputs to the southern chip plant to prosper it.
That will happen. But I don't think it prevents us from doing this. Because ultimately, we're going to want to put a second person in here anyway. And we're going to have to, hook one over from there, and then that goes over from there. It's the hyperdrives eventually give us it.
From which planet? Is that, you reckon that'll be within distance?
Oh, the one at the top?
Yeah.
Within distance of the hyperdrive as well as its bonus, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alright, that's fair comment. Okay.
I just really like getting this successful early.
Cash money,
Maybe we should throw a couple scans
so
here and understand
though,
They are, but are they going to get better? Also, they're all the ones that are within range of the forebears, so we need to know what they are.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, okay. Fair comment. Maybe that makes relays more valuable here.
Yeah, the ability to actually get the connections directly to them. Like, just set up a slipway stream down here and connect infinite things into the forebear megastructure.
I mean, we could get relays and then branching relays, whatever it's called, and then just
Mm-hmm.
have a channel, a canal of. Maybe.
That's not impossible.
I prefer.
How many?
Yeah, I
How
prefer
many years are
hard
in? Okay, we're a few years in. We're 9. Okay. We need to increase this number right now. I think.
I agree. I agree.
So how do we do that instantaneously? Is it scan the area?
I think it's scan the area. There's 2 scans. I think will get us pretty much most of the intel.
Interesting.
That's good. That's a really good combo, actually. I think that becomes good. Can that connect up to the swamp world in the north?
Yep. It's exact 20.
I think that's it. I think that's it. I think it's with ore, but I think that's it. Right? Because then that gives us... It gives us goods. It gives us what we need. It gives us everything apart from science in the equation.
It gives us 2 goods.
Yeah.
We would need to still get 3 more, which is, a success or making one of us successful, as well as a whole nother goods factory afterwards. I do think we need to get the Euphorians tech done, but also that same swamp planet is already funded by this. So if we can do it in an area where it's providing something more substantial, I would be...
But what else are we going to get that... What else are we going to get that we can successful on that planet? Because it's not about what's best, it's about how many planets we can prosper in proximity, you know what I mean?
So again, I will make the point that when we have universal harmony or interstellar, this is all going to be prosperous.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe we just absolutely forget this, science it up, and then just come back when we've got universal harmony, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I just want to have one quick look to make sure that there's nothing like with the geo-harvesting that we can immediately fix a giant problem that was glaring earlier. All that kind of... Still, I'm offended, frankly, that that's still a 12. It should have changed while I wasn't looking. This is serving absolutely no role there at all. This is not blocking anything important that I can see. There was one other thing that I remember was being blocked, but it's not coming to mind at the moment, so I think I'll just move on.
We've cleaned 2 blockages.
That's true. We compounded the cleaning of one of them into another one, which maybe I just clocked one of them and forgot that we'd actually cleaned it. Okay, so the science. We're redirecting back in that direction. I do like the idea of the bots, but that is a scan 2 things up here and get our bearings. Do we want to do that?
Agree. Yep, I very much agree.
Do you like this one, or do you want to go further on over here? Because, like, it's going to be 2 scans, ultimately, and I'm feeling like...
I think I like those 2, yeah. Actually...
Well, I'm sorry, I bought a ring and committed.
I think that is perfect, by the way. That is absolutely perfect right there. That's so workable.
Okay. I'm gonna turn the control screen off for just a little bit of time if you're okay with it. Just because with this entire area it's getting a bit cluttered. Actually, no, if I zoom in further, it's fine for me. Okay, so let's start thinking about the possible scaffolds of them, right? So both of those probably want to become bots. We've got the input of that. The bot input here, actually, is also the completion there. We don't even need to free that wheat if we just throw the excess bot down that direction.
That's really good.
And then the person from here is going to want to come from there. We are going to need a second planet that's also doing colonies. Are we going to need a second planet that's also doing colony stuff? Rock. No, not necessarily.
Is there a world in which we use that forge world to actually create goods instead? I know it's a lot to ask. the Forge world that's currently you've got on robots.
Oh.
But robots, sorry, yeah,
bots.
that one, yeah. Because that fulfills the goods mission. It does mean that we probably need to look at turning that remnant world into a bot production facility up north as well. The northerly remnant
I was already going to be looping this in, to be clear.
Okay, fair comment. Does that give us enough science? Because that's better, because it allows us to do our goods mission as well. But does it get us enough science?
I like doing our goods mission. I think that is all it provides to us. This thing down here is going to start languishing because it can't start sending stuff up. I mean, you know, the providing of water to that in the future is going to be, yeah, admittedly, a little bit difficult. Don't have an immediate plan to do it. So that's probably not a reasonable thing for me to be as concerned about. Is there... Let's have a look and see if there is even a positioning that would be able to take all of the resources that I'm attempting to put in. 1, 2... Yeah, that exact position does it.
That's literally right it.
Ultimately, the problem for me is that this goods factory will not be able to output any of those goods for a really long period of time.
Okay, I mean, we don't have to build it. I'm just thinking we're going to have a limited opportunity to get goods factories that actually produce. And I'm just sort of trying to think, you know, where do we get them?
I think one of the best ways that we can approach it is to continue successing and prospering the ones that we already have access to. We can get 2 more out of that one.
But
which,
counterpoint is that we kind of need to get, or if we want to get the maximum benefit from it, we need to get the goods mission done before we get hyperlanes. Right?
Yes, I'm not designing this necessarily around getting hyperlanes in order to do it in the first place.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
The obvious connection is there, but like other versions of it exist up here and things like that. We will need another Forge Bear world. And this is frankly, this is a great location for one because it's relatively isolated. It's going to be in between a bunch of colonies. What if we sent out another scan in this area? Because this is going to be a colony, this is going to be a colony. If we found another Forge Bear here, would we be happy to revert to...
Yeah, agree. Okay. Yeah, hard agree.
I'll tell you, the positioning here does suck. Like, with a 6-banger there.
I think that's good enough. I mean, you know, I think that's fine.
Disappointing.
Yeah, that's...
One person wants this.
Is there a way in which we can get a lab basically where that not where that Arctic world is, but like if we destroy the Arctic world and then we get a lab?
Do you mean Arctic or really? Ice Ball here?
Sorry, Ice Ball. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good enough.
I will also say
really
this, the robot here and here and here, and then the person gets us to 7 science in this area. If we cut this extra robot out, we would need to include another colony or another robot. This also does have the ability to loop in the Gaia world for a prosperous planet.
Yeah, okay, dude, just run through your plan of everything, and then we'll see where we are, because it's going to take us a year and a bit, or 2 years to do.
Love it. I mean,
the cash doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
It doesn't? Okay, I'll start clicking the things, and we can optimize if we absolutely need to at the end for it. But that's gotta pop there, and then that'll be there, that'll be there, that'll be there, that'll be there. I'm not optimizing around the science because I, again, will step back and fix that then in just a couple seconds, but that, I think, is prime 1, 2. That connection is going to have to be made.
That remnant needs to be ore if we're sticking with this colony. Actually, can you ditch that ice ball and then connect the remnant to the south?
Out of range.
Ah, criminal.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to step back for one thing. I think it's going to be relatively important. I think we colonize one of these and then look at the rest of the area over there.
Wait, what is three robots and one person gives us 5, right?
3 robots and 1 person gives us 5, yes. The first robot and the first person create 1 science by themselves, and then every additional robot creates 2.
Up to
every
3,
additional
up
person
to
creates
5.
1.
Yeah, okay.
Not up to anything. Again, not a max.
No, sorry.
No, that was changed. So I'm not correcting you as much as I'm like, oh no, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Don't worry. Okay, so now we've stepped back to the most reasonable point. It would be, are we just going like, boom?
It's too risky. That's too
too
rely
risky?
on a.
What about
it's fine to colonize that and then scan. Yeah, that's I think fine. There isn't. There's not going to be a.
There's not going to be, but if there is,
well,
I'm going to roll out the year. Absolutely not. All right. Well, if this has to then become a scrapping operation for us.
That's okay. It's you know what? This is absolutely fine. And I'll tell you why it's absolutely fine. Because we can get a food synthesizer coming across from the Gaia world at the top into the colony over to the Earth world. See what I'm saying?
From the Gaia world at the top.
No, sorry. That becomes a colony.
This becomes a colony, yes?
Yep. And then we get a food synthesizer literally above the swamp world.
Food synthesizer directly above the swamp world. So that would be in this position.
Yep. Literally right there. And then the source of water comes across from the Gaia world.
The already excellent Gaia world over here?
Yep.
That will prevent the extra robot that we are looking to get.
No, that's fine, because the water can go to the... If you just connect them both up before, you can choose where the water goes, because we only need one output of food. So we just need the biomass.
Right. Yes. Yes, I see where you're coming from now. How do we integrate the swamp? Because it's got like
we don't need it.
Half of it. We don't need it, but half of its ability to do anything has just been cut off with that action.
We don't need to. I wasn't even planning to colonize it at all. Why bother?
Because there might be a world where it can be colonized and useful. Because like right now,
there might be a world.
This one has the ability to take like a person, another person, a bot. Like this could be a very big factory for us.
I mean, well, okay. The marginal rate of return for connecting the swamp world up is huge, because where are we going to get that chip? That's the real question. Okay, actually, I have a counter pitch. This is the 960 pitch. This is where we're going. Let's scaffold this in such a way that we can connect the forebear to the colony. If that gives us a chip, we're Gucci to connect up the swampy. Sound good?
I'm gonna say not particularly.
Okay.
But I think it's because I have a better option. If we do this doesn't even need to include itself. It can even just be included later. Food processor from down here already funds these two. And then...
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, we don't have to include as many extra systems, and then this colony is immediately close to that if we want to. We can even end up blowing this up and then send another rock further up if we want.
I don't think it's possible because the ocean world needs to come across to the lab. And if you put the food processor in front of it,
yes, sorry. The extra person would come from the hive world instead of from the ocean world. The ocean world would be able to connect, but immediately after hyperdrives, which comes next year. If we're doing hyperdrives next year, rather than slipstreams.
Can't get it. Yeah, okay. Can't get it this coming year. That's a shame that we're not going to be able to get the benefit out of the connection, though. I mean, I don't think we need to connect the swamp world. I think that's a distraction. For one extra science, we need to find a chip.
Oh yeah, I don't think we need to connect the swamp world, but I think that using this, because yours has the food processor back up here, with giant connections for each of these. Our money is doing okay at the moment. It's gonna get worse, but the idea of being able to use these without having to even touch this as an integrated system, it makes creating prosperity later a lot easier.
Okay, I mean, I'm pretty ambivalent about what happens, to be honest. I think we just go for it, to be honest.
Okay. Yes.
Matter transposition.
Yes.
You can transpose the ice ball and the remnant from down south. That will take the remnant within range and will turn it into an ore-providing world, which means that you can use the northern remnant world as robots. That can get up to, what, 7 science without a second colony? You don't even have to connect up the north hive world. The north agro world, whatever it is.
Okay, do we have enough steps back to have a look at that? Because I want to interrogate that plan. Okay, so this was the swapping of this remnant planet as well as this ice ball planet, getting the ability to
or the other one.
send... Sorry?
Or the arid. I mean, 6.5 a dozen, really.
Yeah, I guess that just comes down to whether or not we think we have the ability to fund the arid from this area, which doesn't look great. So yeah, you could easily swap the arid instead.
I think I prefer that because you know what the great thing about that is that it allows us to build a science setup that does not interfere with the Earth like at the top or the swamp world, which means that we can come back to those after and optimize for additional science later. It allows us to get the science mission done, then it allows us to focus on prospering the planets at the south and also the goods mission as well. I think I rate it.
I like
Plus
everything about
options.
it. I do want to ask you one question though.
Hit me, but I've got follow-up points to make about how valuable it is. Yep.
Is it worth 36 science?
Here's the thing.
We have so many expensive things we need.
It's worth it. Well, first of all, we're going to be getting an absolute motherload of science out of this operation, which is POG, obviously. But second of all, I think we can get utility out of it pretty much everywhere. So over in the top left, if you'll humor me for a moment, I think we can maybe find a setup here to get extra goods. Like if we were to swap like the arid, I feel like there's something up here that would allow us to get extra goods and extra operation. And there's also down south, I mean, we can pick and choose what planets we want to get and where. And see that desert and those ice ball, they're completely useless. If we can swap them in for something that's not terrible, then I think maybe that justifies it. I actually as a matter of course hate matter transposition because I think it's garbage, but it solves a very specific problem here that we wouldn't otherwise be able to solve for ages. Gives us the time to fix the goods mission and actually benefit from the expensive Slipways tech. Gives us a whole bunch of science, and it leaves open the option of getting more science at a later date with the two northern planets.
Give
It
me
is pretty
one
radical,
moment.
It's pretty radical.
I'll tell you, your strongest pitch was the opening one. You're looking for more ways that we will be able to utilize matter transposition after the fact. This is not a particularly strong argument for it. The main problem over here is that we have so many things that are the same, that they all want the same inputs and they all want to give the same outputs. And it's really difficult to find that over in that area. We would want to move them apart if we're really going to try and do that. However, also, I think ultimately we're going to end up having to do slipstream stuff, so I don't think the swapping of those matters too much. My main thing is I don't want transposition to only really give us one thing, because I know we're going to build infinite hyperdrives if we unlock hyperdrives. If we use matter transposition and then swap maybe one or two things, it becomes really, really rough. So I'm looking for it to promise immediate value that overcomes that hesitance. Here is an idea.
Okay.
It's a weird one. We don't study robots. We study ore up there. The idea is that the Forge world is the only thing up here that is only capable of producing robots instead. Instead, we swap the Forge world down with this lava world. It takes an ore in. It gives a good to Eudemon as well as Rembrandt, immediately making both of those successful.
That's a connection to the Buildy Boy as well, actually, I think, from the Arctic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very important.
And then, like, a extensible version of this is trying to get a chip into this ultimately, because then we would have the ability for this to generate 3 by itself, which means we only need to include 1 more forge in a different area. It does promise 2. Then the secondary part of that is we are now rock boys. We rock. In which case, this swap doesn't necessarily have to happen. Which I don't love as much. Exactly.
Is there maybe an area that we're overlooking? I mean, is there an area that we could study rocks right now? Not really, is there?
Let's have a look at that. Leave that bad boy there. Okay, so the obvious version is rock, rock, rock. We've got 3 rocks in relative density. It's not incredibly high density. Only 1 down there, not going to be enough.
But that being said, like,
Yeah,
you would also be able to connect up the ocean world probably to the lab, because that's going to get an extra person. The other one actually I was meaning, if depending on where the lab is.
Oh yeah, yes. No, because that goes across and then
yeah, of course
back down there.
That's a tough one. I really rate the swap between. First of all, is it possible to actually transpose those 2, or is it too far? Because it might be too far, and we might have to do it in 2 actions. In which case, it's okay. You know, to be honest,
just to show what we're talking about to the audience, feel free.
I rate that deeply. Dude, that prospers the chip factory that successful the chip factory too. Look at that. The chip factory across to the right.
Ah, yes.
No, not that
Left,
one.
right?
This other one, which connects into the factory. Which is at this point also really important. Sorry, line from the Arctic to the southernmost chip producer, the Arctic colony.
Arctic colony.
Other Arctic colony. Yep, people across there.
It needs water.
Oh, of course.
Sorry, that's why I wasn't seeing it, because I was like,
sorry, I'm just being an idiot.
No, it's okay. I have control of the mouse. I get to check my idiotic assumptions before I say them out loud, so I've just got the privilege on that side. I'll tell you, the more I look at this, the less I'm actually super enthused about it. Like, it's got a nice little connection, but it's hard to extend beyond that for much value.
Oh, I know, but I like the move so much. I
Honestly, I'm burrowing up against the cost of matter transposition because we have 13 years left at this point. If hyperdrive or slipstream are coming online 3 or 4 years later because of matter transposition coming online earlier, we
here's the thing. Matter transposition can be reduced by 8 science. So we can set up, like, we don't have to do, like, if we do my original plan, right, where we swap the southernmost remnant plant with the ocean world, that doesn't actually have to be done until after we've completed the Vittori mission and we get the 20% science discount. So that matter transposition will cost less.
but we would still need to plan around it.
Correct. It's just a fundamental decision of, do we want to get it? Is it valuable? And in conjunction with that, I'd ask you to consider, I think we should only try and get hyperlanes after we get the Euphorian tech discount. Because that, yeah, I don't know, but maybe it's a sunk cost fallacy, right? Am I putting too much stock in the Euphorian mission when hyperlanes would actually really help us? I think they're good, but I don't think they're going to make a real difference until we get the late game stable jumps or whatever.
I think they will make a difference before that.
What are they going to connect?
That is the key question, is it not? This is not going to be able to get another person from any of its adjacencies, unfortunately. The extra of the chips can go out here into here, which does give us an additional good. That good doesn't have the ability to be delivered to anything yet. This probably wouldn't connect, if I had to guess.
It's super short. It's like probably the distance between the chip factory and the forge world, I think, is probably pushing it even in terms of distance initially. Because I think stable jumps gives 60% increased range. It's quite crazy, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Will it show? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, 60 exactly. It's 59 as well. It costs more than I thought. All of this isn't going to matter if we don't get science online.
Yeah.
I'll say, Ghost in the Machine, the mission, can be completed very quick if we are going for slipstream and the stream splitting and stuff. If we went in that direction instead. And if we are doing it in that direction, that's not a foreign. We would just start paying for that with no sunk cost. It's just what that costs us to get.
Actually, why are we talking about matter transpose? I mean, that's... Like, those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Like, we could just, instead of taking matter transpose, we can just take slipstreams. And then we can slipstream around the southern remnant world. That fixes that problem. Then it allows us to do all robots in the north.
I like that.
I mean, that's... Because let's be real, like, it's going to take us a year and a bit to scaffold this whole thing anyway.
Absolutely.
So by the time that we... Yeah, alright, well... God, it's like... When you look at when you look at for something for so long that it starts to lose all of its meaning and comprehension, I think we actually just need to make a decision.
we had a kind of semantic satiation going on there that I guess that it no longer really matters or makes sense. I'm gonna start scaffolding some stuff out here. I want to try and make sure that I prioritize for the science, so it's gonna be a bit annoying. Because colony 3, 1 connection, so that's 4 in order to get 1 in. I should figure out where the lab is going first. That feels like the right position.
I think that's it, yeah.
Unless I'm missing something dire. I do not believe I am. Okay. So one of them's coming in from there. One of them's coming in from there. That connection matters. Connection matters. Let's take... don't need to do that one.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah,
it just needs to go into the lab.
It just needs to go into the lab. You're right. And then we can colonize and put 1 more in if we immediately create it. So it would be that and then entry for 2 science.
Brilliant.
Unlocks our hyperdrive as well as our slipstreams. I will just complete the rest of this though.
Oh, finally. Long overdue.
Money. And then that's. And then the final thing we need is the person out of this one.
Yep.
But that was the contention. So it's either this becomes that, and then we send in the person from the colony instead up here. Honestly, let's be real. This should just be a colony.
Where are you getting the chip from?
I'm gonna read the secret and manifest it.
Okay. I think that.
This was
I think
always
it
going
can
to be
be
the
a
push for
colony.
us. It doesn't have to be. You've brought up a very, very good point, which is it's not good. This version, do we have the ability to fund?
Dude, there's another option here, and that option is to stick it in the middle, wait until we get hyper jumps, and then just jump over.
Are we hyper jumping or are we using the stable slipstream?
Sorry, I should clarify. I think we should get them both.
I do too, but which one's coming first? Because one of them
Slipstream,
completes this
for
mission.
sure.
Slipstream's coming
Categorically.
first?
Yeah.
So
But that remnant world can still be a robot world to connect up to the hub, and then we can just build a food synthesizer in the middle to just jump over and connect both of the.
it's the
planets to the
rock
food
here
processor.
that's the problem.
Yeah, but the rock's coming from the southern one, isn't it?
Mm.
Alternatively, here's a completely weird pitch. We're actually going to get that sixth science if we connect up the. Oh, actually, no. If we connected up the chip down south, there's no second chip coming online there, is there? No.
Not over much, no.
Okay, ignore me. We need to. I think we just. Yeah, I think we get slipstream. We slipstream the rock around.
Okay, let's do it. You're right. So to be clear, what you're talking about is wait, hang on. The food processor is going to be able to take it, right? So it's slipstream there, and then the food processor there taking from this to give food to both of those places?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
That becomes a robot factory.
Oh,
That
sorry.
connects into
No,
the lab?
you're right. No, you said it. I apologize. Yeah, no, it was the connection between this and the bottom becoming the rock. Yeah.
Correct. That was the plan. And then the food processor goes in the middle, and then like it. No, sorry. Yeah. I see what you're trying to do.
Just seeing if it's viable. It is not. Yeah. Oh my god, the connection lines
Come
are
on.
just so close. This can be blown up in a month, to be clear. That's that's available.
I don't think it's worth a month, to be honest. Like I feel like time is more pressing than
Good point, well made. We could just put it
the
a
extra
little bit above or
$3
below.
that we're gonna save.
Wait a second.
It's
How are we? Oh, because we aren't making the hive world. Ryan.
not until later. Not until we get the food synthesizer, which can be built in the middle of all of the slipways that we're currently building to the lab. Because when we get hyper lanes, we just bounce across.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want this above or below?
The 6.5 dozen, probably above, so it doesn't conflict with other stuff. Yeah, I imagine. I mean, I literally don't think that we're going to return to this area.
Well, it's ultimately is the are we ever going to take another ore out of this for something else in this area, right?
No, there's nothing else to take.
Yeah, you're right. Ultimately, it would just want to loop into that and then possibly over here as well. So that would be some severe slipstreaming, but
Yeah.
put that there. You make ore. Or else. And then the... Right, that person
Actually,
goes there.
yeah, okay. Person goes there. Robot goes there. Food synth we build later because there's no need to build it now. In my humble opinion.
We need to build it now if we want to get Beeble.
I mean, I feel like I don't.
Things.
I feel like I don't care though. You know. I feel like if we solve the other two missions, then the other I say the two missions, the one mission and then the one campaign objective, we'll eventually get our Euphorian discount, and then we come back here, we hyperlane it up, and then we're golden.
Okay, show me where the Euphorian discount is coming in here. No. Sorry. Again, I'm fine with what we have. It's just I'm resigned to it because I don't see a better thing here. But
my suggestion is that we can get it as soon as we get the first one. We build the food synthesizer basically between the remnant world and the ocean world. And then, basically, over there, roughly. I mean, not conflicting with the path of humans. And then we hyperlane the biomass into the middle, connect up, hyperlane the food out. Does that make sense?
It does.
That's my plan.
Why would you? Why do you need a hyperlane for that process?
Because we'll want to get. I suppose we could also just wait. I wanted to connect up the top. This is all contingent on the top Earth-like becoming a colony as well. Connect into the lab. It's a food source for that.
I think we have enough colony prospects up there that'll end up happening regardless.
If you want to connect it now, then that's fine. But I mean, I really don't feel like there's necessarily a reason to do so.
Yeah, this area doesn't look like it has much in the way of successful potential just yet. I will say, like, this arid is only possible to be used as a colony, so there is a world where the food processor is providing to both of these. And this would happily take another person as an input, so person input, suddenly we get a successful here as well. Then the only remaining holdout is a water input on this planet, which we don't have an immediate plan for.
Also, I'm thinking, like, why did... I know we took slipstreams and did remnant slipstreamed in the remnant world in the south, but I'm thinking now, why do we bother doing that? Like, we can leave that hanging. We can leave it hanging without the inclusion of without the colonization of the remnant world in the south, and then just return to this area once we have the tech discount.
Absolutely, yeah. In my mind. In my mind, we were living in the world where we were going to complete the connections over here and have a full area. But if we're not doing that, then screw it. Both of you get no income, but you have all job. All job, no income, make Homer a sad boy. Direct quote. That does it a lot faster. And then we still have.
I think that's great.
I mean,
so now we got to finish Euphorian and the campaign mission, right? And then we win.
So I want to have a little look. That would join.
How far can it go?
This out of range.
No.
That would.
That's
out of range. So it's about that far.
Yeah, that solves one problem.
Yes.
In fact, it's not even a problem because we can't even output that second good yet.
Yeah, it's not extremely productive right now. I will happily and readily admit that one, but we'll see if there's any other area here, just quickly, that might utilize it well.
Biomat, yeah, that's one.
That's pretty happy to do it, but it's largely just an income play. Eventually, we will want this to prosper, but without all of the goods in this area already, which we're trying to make our way towards, it's just not going to. Any of these really want to hop?
That is an important corridor. That's going to be the prosperity corridor, as we're going to refer to it as now.
Mm-hmm. From here on out, without failure. Yeah, no, hyperlanes doesn't immediately solve any problems for us there. So we can try and go for the slipstream first. Does Slipstream solve some problem for us? Let's start identifying some of the other problems in the galaxy that Slipstream can solve for us, because if we can just do that and then Slipstream a bunch of things this year to do Euphorian stuff while fixing up our galaxy, my god, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I think is our best bet. I mean, if we go the mine there, the mine at the bottom into goods, is that our best bet? And then doing similarly, conversely, up at the top. That's frustrating, actually.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem. But yeah, sorry, continue. That's not super important just yet.
So, I mean, that gives us, what, 2 goods, right?
Yes, it'll give us 2 goods. We would have to get both outputs from it, as well as put a chip in order to get a third.
Okay. And then the other suggestion that I had was at the north, where we colonize that primordial, and we get another goods factory right there in the middle. Yeah, getting goods again.
What's the
and that gets us 4
primordial doing for you here?
Primordial gives us the extra ore, which we need in order to get the second good. Have to get the primordial to get
the
right,
sorry, primordial gets you the water for the extra order from...
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. That gets us 2. We get a third from somewhere else?
I do like the system that exists here. This can happily hang that for a little period of time. We have one output for the good with a hyperdrive across, another output for the good if we use hyperdrive to also get another person over here, and then we make the food lab.
I mean, you know.
So maximum, it ends up getting us 2 more. So we're looking for 3 more elsewhere in the galaxy as well.
Yeah, we're looking for... If we get that set up to the south, and then this setup, that gets us 4. And so we just need to find...
I'd really like to see if we can do it in just 2 different planets being colonized here, rather than colonizing a third.
I mean, chips and goods up at the top, then I guess maybe that's an option. From the Forge Worlds up there.
Oh, I think I see something.
Okay. Yep.
Infraspace is 52. Okay, and you're 38. So the total cost there is 90. 2 years down the line, we'll have access to that. That's pretty far down the line. However, the value I'm proposing is but it's 2 years down the line that it would then get the ability for us to get the goods, which is then the ability for us to do hyperlanes. I don't like the restrictions that it keeps providing.
Here's a counter pitch. I think we can do it in 2. I think we can do it in 2. I think it involves a little bit of risk. I think if we scan out to the left, we could colonize that swamp world and get a colony there. And then, sorry, south, that's jungle. South. That one right there. If we get a colony there, if we find a remnant or a forge world in any of the planets that we've got out to the right, to the left even, then we can slipstream relay a chip back into the forge world, get our second good output, and our second input to get us a third good. Then we just colonize the one up to the north, and that's our 3. If we find a remnant. Alternatively, the forge world down to the south becomes a chip factory. In fact, that's about 1 billion times better, because that gets us our chip. We just need to put a slipstream relay in there. That gets us outputs. I think that's it.
Okay, so this has the input of one... I mean, now we're creating chips and not doing the Euphorian mission, to be clear. Like, it gives us 1... we colonize this, but we get 1 good rather than 2.
You're right. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
It's okay.
You're absolutely right. Removing the good is problematic.
I'm just trying to make sure that we have ducks in a row in terms of the dependencies.
Is there a world in
Because
which we get the arid colony colonized as well, over to the left, and then that gets us two extra goods from the factory there, potentially? It's not like, it's not awful.
It's not awful. It loops another person into the water extraction area, which I really do like. Let's scaffold this a little. Right. So ultimately, what is missing here? The ability to get the wheat into both of those.
That's a biomass thing, right? Though. Like,
Well,
if
I mean,
get
you can
a primordial.
You can use water as well. It's biomass or water.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Um,
There's a primordial down south, so we can just loop that in, and you probably get, again, once you get hyperlanes, you just jump over all of the nonsense in the middle there.
You do, but so ultimately, my aim here was to try and create a world where we have the extra input and output for Sanderson to prosper as a result of this. We've got the extra person going in there, the extra good going out to the top. We have the ability for this to export a good here, as well as immediately up, as well as possibly further out after we get a chip in, if we do get a chip in. The chip comes across from here with the hyperdrive, and then the extra good goes out in the other direction as well. So it's trying to use no extra planets in order to make this a deeply prosperous system. But it's the extra water that has to go here is the problem, unfortunately. But it has to be there. I like this arid colony double situation up here.
I like both of them. I think you just cut your losses, you colonize that primordial, you throw in a food synthesizer.
It's gonna have to serve more purposes than just that, though. Actually, think about this for a sec. If that doesn't connect across there, what is our world like? Because if that was there and we were connecting in this way, that's cutting off the access of Ulith to an export route unless we have the hyperlanes. But I am planning on getting the hyperlanes because the input goes to there. Does this reach, you mean?
No, isn't does the hyperlane reach to the arid? Just the base level hyperlane, because if it doesn't, that's
okay. That one doesn't, but that does.
Yeah.
It's missing out on a couple of these. Yeah, it's the second output come from that, which is the problem. All right, yep, we've ended up in exactly the same situation again. Hell yeah.
I think I like what we originally had. It felt more natural. I don't know what it was. I liked it though.
Just gonna do some scaffolding here because
great. Yeah.
There's a blind idea in the area, right? Because then we have the hanging water from that could easily just go above into both of them.
Oh, yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Yeah.
And then both of them have natural outputs for this. That's out of range, unfortunately.
Wow, it's fine. It'll happen with either a slipstream or a hyper.
It's 2. We're on 111 sites as well, to be clear. All of this time, we have the ability to just dump a couple of these out. 2 techs to advance as well, so we can't just go immediately slipstream and infraspace, and we also can't do that with hyperdrive and stable jumps.
Yeah.
9 months until end of year as well.
feel like we're gonna have to come to the thrilling conclusion. probably
I
in the
feel
next
like we are as
episode,
well. I've been trying to have a satisfying takeaway here to provide as a coda of the episode. But I'm not finding it immediately. I mean, we don't need to immediately use that. Hey, Orbital.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of the episode. My name has been Rhapsody. His name has been Orbital Potato. This has been Slipways. In the next episode, we are eventually going to decide whether or not we're going to be using a hyperdrive or a slipstream relay in order to achieve our wildest fantasies of a fully connected and extremely cultural network. Until then, hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Bye.